Warlocks have some great builds this season. Today I'm going to put together one of the most explosive builds in the game for Warlocks. So this combines the exotic Armour Contraverse Hold plus aspects and fragments of Void 3.0, plus we've got some choice weapons to create one of the most explosive builds possible, and one that's going to see you through loads of PVE content. Well, if you're new around here, I find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 98% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, since the Witch Queen release, Void Warlocks have been having loads of fun when it comes to builds. So this build today in particular, it's all about grenades plus Chaos Accelerant and Feed the Void. So Chaos Accelerant is going to supercharge our Vortex grenades, making the explosions bigger and the effects last longer. Then we got Feed the Void, meaning we're going to be triggering the Devour effect. So Devour is really powerful for Warlocks, plus it's great for the build, given final blows fully restore health and grant grenade energy, plus that Devour timer is increased, allowing us to keep up Devour for as long as you can get kills. Okay, so let's have a look at this explosive Warlock Void 3.0 build. Well, first of all, let's dive into the subclass, and of course that is Void. And looking at the class ability, we're actually going to be using a Healing Rift. You can use any super. For the grenade, we're going to be using Vortex grenades, and for the melee, we're going to be using Pocket Singularity. Looking at the aspects, we're using Chaos Accelerant, so hold down the grenade button to overcharge your Vortex, Axiom Bolt Scatter, and Magnetic Grenades. And then we got Feed the Void, so defeat a target with the Void ability to activate Devour, and while Devour is active, final blows restore health, and extends Devour. Well, next up, let's look at the Fragments, so we got Expulsion, Void ability kills called enemies to explode, plus we got an intellect bonus. Then we got Remnant, so your lingering grenade effects, so Vortex Grenade, Void Wall, Void Spike and Axiom Bolt have an increased duration. And then we got Persistent, so Void buffs applied to you, so Visibility, Overshield and Devour have an increased duration. Well, next up, let's have a look at the exotic armour for the build, and this is going to be Contraverse Hold. So Contraverse Hold are exotic Warlock gauntlets, and they come with the perk Chaotic Exchanger. So resist incoming damage while charging your Void Grenades, and charged Void Grenades return grenade energy on a hit. Also, we've got a Mobility Enhancement mod, and that increases the mobility. So we've got a few exotics that you can use for the build, although Contraverse Hold really stands out. This returns grenade energy when hit enemies with a charged Void Grenade, and Vortex Grenades, well, they're going to last forever, given we're running the Remnants and the Chaos Accelerant too. So combine these features with Contraverse Hold, and you're going to be having grenades pretty much constantly. So if you did want to switch things up a little bit with the exotics, you can also check out Nothing Manacles, and of course Nezrak Sin, that is a classic. The latter got me through most of the campaign and the early endgame, and also you got Verity's Brow as well. That is another one that is really good. So it is definitely worth testing out a few exotic pieces of armour and seeing what works for you. Well, if you're new to the game and you haven't got Contraverse Hold, you can get them from Zur at the weekend, so check out the exotic engram, and Zur does have exotic protection, meaning he's going to prioritise the exotic piece of armour that you haven't got yet. So if you haven't got Contraverse Hold and you have loads of other exotics, it might be worth a visit to Zur. So if you're looking for exotics, you can of course farm Nightfalls, so specifically you want to be looking at Master or Grandmaster Nightfalls, and that's going to help you get drops of regular exotic armour pieces. Well, next up, let's have a look at the weapons. So first of all, in the kinetic slot, I'm using a Submission, and Submission is a legendary kinetic submachine gun with a lightweight frame, meaning the weapon has superb handling, and you move faster with the weapon equipped. This is already a great gun, but I've got one with Demolitionist, so kills with the weapon generate grenade energy, and activating your grenade ability reloads the weapon from reserves. So that is going to work really well for the build, and Demolitionist is what you're looking out for, so check your vault for a kinetic weapon with Demolitionist and then use it. In the energy slot, I'm using Null Composure, so this one is a legendary energy fusion rifle. It's got a rapid fire frame, meaning deeper ammo reserves, and slightly faster reload when the magazine is empty. So in terms of perks you can choose on this one, in the third slot we can choose from Feeding Frenzy, where each rapid kill with a weapon progressively increases the reload speed for a short time. Then you got Heating Up, where final blows of the weapon increase the accuracy and stability, while improving the vertical recoil. In the fourth slot, we got a choice of Reservoir Burst, where when the battery is full, your next burst deals additional damage and causes the enemies to explode. and high impact reserves where rounds at the end of the magazine deal more damage. Personally, I'm really enjoying Reservoir Burst and Feeding Frenzy, but that perk combination is up to you. So in the power slot there's going to be even more explosions, so here I'm using Razor's Edge. This is a legendary power sword that deals void damage, and it's a vortex frame sword where you can launch a heavy spin attack, and heavy attacks are stronger with full energy. So for PvE, Relentless Strikes and Chain Reaction would be really good. So Chain Reaction is the one you're looking out for, where final blows create elemental damage explosions, and given that is a void weapon, it's going to be very, very potent this season. Well, finally then, let's have a look at the mods for the build. So first of all, Ashes to assets, so you gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. We've got Volatile Flow, so picking up a Void Elemental Well grants your Void weapons volatile rounds. We've got Elemental Ordnance, so defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an Elemental Well that matches a subclass energy type. Then we've got Explosive Well Maker, so rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns Solar Elemental Wells. Then we've got Well of Tenacity, so picking up a Void Elemental Well reduces the damage you take from combatants for a short period of time. And finally we've got Bountiful Wells, so Elemental Well mods that cause you to spawn Elemental Wells can now stack, spawning additional wells for each additional copy of the mod you have equipped. Well, Void Warlocks already have a strong explosive game even without these mods. However, Ashes to assets is going to turn it up a notch, given that grenade kills are going to grant you super energy, and that means more supers more of the time. Ideally, you'd be running Bountiful Wells in there too for even more Elemental Well creation, and Elemental Ordnance is going to work really, really good too, creating even more Elemental Wells. So I do have a Void theme running throughout the whole build, so you're not going to have any problems creating Void Elemental Wells. Well of Tenacity is great too, as you're going to be getting a 50% damage reduction when you pick up a Void Well. And then we've got Explosive Well Maker, and that's going to come in handy if you're creating more Elemental Wells when you dish out your explosions. Given we're going to be throwing grenades all of the time, plus Chain Reaction on your sword, there's going to be explosions left, right and centre. And then we've got Volatile Rounds, that's going to turn anything Void into an absolute killing machine. I'm using Null Composure and Razor's Edge, but you could easily swap these out for Funnel Web, Sharer's Wrath, Red Herring. Just name a Void weapon, you can use it here, and it's going to be absolutely great. Well, let me know in the comments what you think of this Warlock Void 3.0 build. If you've got any improvements, share them down in the comments with the community. Well, that is it for this guide for a Warlock Void 3.0 build in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.